Welcome to 3 Questions for Solopreneurs, the podcast about the solopreneur experience. I'm your host, Amy Kelbing, and I'm a solopreneur. I love being my own boss, but going solo in business can get lonely. That's why I talk to other solopreneurs about how they run their business. I ask each and every guest the same 3 questions to reveal if there is more than one way to run a successful business. Welcome to 3 Questions for Solopreneurs. I'm your host, Amy Kelbing. I'm here today with Gabrielle Thil. She is a soul-to-soul relationship coach. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Hi, really nice to be here today.
Wonderful to have you here. Please tell us a little bit more about what you do as a soul-to-soul relationship coach.
So, mainly I help women embrace their love journey. So, really be in touch with the deep desire of their soul and heart, and of course, release some fears or insecurities around love and relationship, and awaken as well as a beautiful feminine and sensual woman there, and teach them how to follow the signs the universe is sending them so they can attract the soul to soul relationships they really desire. So I really mix lots of energetic work with sacred ancient wisdom around love and relationships. So yeah, it's very personal work.
That's a really neglected side of a lot of women's lives. Can you tell us a little bit about who you usually work with? Like where are these women coming from?
So usually the women I'm working with are in their 30s, so they've had some relationships in the past, but they were not really fulfilling relationships, and they're in a moment in their lives where they feel the desire to have more fulfilling, connected soul-to-soul relationships. But they start to be aware that in life you attract who you are, so they start to be aware that there is kind of personal work to do, maybe to really go further to their own relationships with themselves, to start to be intimate differently with themselves so they can, embrace their love path differently at another level.
So that's kind of like the first step in your work is their relationships with themselves.
Yes, it's really all about self-love and their relationship to self. Yes, it's where everything starts. And if you don't have this intimate personal relationship with yourself, it's very difficult to create a deep soul-to-soul connection with somebody else. So yes, definitely everything starts there. Taking a closer look with lots of love and compassion, and start embracing the woman there in this moment without judgment and without too many pressure or expectations on themselves, but just allowing whatever is to be.
This is why I wanted to talk to you, because a lot of the people on my show are coming from this place of, they've had this professional success and they can talk a lot about their profession and what they do, but how often are people's inner lives neglected? I would say pretty frequently. And that's really what I wanted to get into with you. I definitely still want you to answer the 3 questions for solopreneurs and what people can do in their business, especially like a more heart-focused kind of business. But definitely I wanted to talk just a little bit more about your work, your actual work, and how you can help people. Why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of who your clients are? Like, how did they find you? Or did you find them and reach out to them?
Yeah, everything starts with me as well, with my own presence and the kind of resonate with me and the sacred space I offer. So yeah, everything, in this universe, everything is vibration. So yeah, in some ways they resonate with me, my presence, my energy and my work, which is really totally, connected to my presence. So yeah, it's just, kind of difficult to explain it intellectually, because it's really about presence, vibration, and resonance in, in between two persons. But it's the same. Sometimes you feel attracted to someone, you just don't know why, but you feel like something is calling you, and if you really listen to yourself and your heart and are open to it, well, the relationship can start. But you have to feel this first within you, that you feel kind of attracted to this person, to the way she works, the way she is, the way she approaches the work that she does, because there are different relationships, and so each relationship coach will approach relationships as well according to her own energy. So yes, it's really finding the person you are resonating with, and being open to what can happen.
And you're mostly based online, correct?
So yes, as also relationship coach, I am based online. I do work as well as a Kundalini yoga teacher, and so I do this part of my work in my own yoga center.
Talk a little bit about how like you make that connection online. Obviously it's just not as easy to sense that energy and to really read somebody online. So how do you go about doing that? And then how do you go about presenting yourself?
Yes, so online in the end, just sometimes organizing some workshops or being present in social media, so people can start feeling my energy, my presence, enter my space. I would say yes, enter the healing separate space I offer. So yes, it's starting to create this connection by doing some videos or inviting them to workshops, so that they can start to have this feel of how it is to be in my presence, and then eventually invite them to private one-on-one conversation, so they can tell me a bit more about their personal life and their relationships, and what they're looking for, and what kind of help they need to receive. So it's quite, organic.
Yeah, it's really when you were talking about just even like how you work with people and about that relationship, I was thinking like that is what you are helping people achieve is creating this relationship, but you are also always creating this relationship. How do you protect yourself? I know as someone I'm also sort of empathetic, and I know we're both highly sensitive people. How do you ground and protect yourself? Because it can get quite intense to have all these different people's energies in your space.
My own personal practice is essential. So I do my own practice every day, my sadhana, my spiritual practice, and it helps me be centered in my heart, and yes, have a strong magnetic field myself. So this is this is called the magnetic field, the aura. So this is my protection. I can have a heart wide open but still be protected. So yeah, this is everything comes from my own practice.
That's absolutely beautiful. Is that something that you teach in your work as well, to have this, I guess it's kind of like a one-way flow of energy so that you can keep what you need for yourself, but still be able to give?
Yes, absolutely. And yes, because my work is a lot about embodiment, being present in the body, being connected to your breath, being conscious of your feelings. And yes, I work a lot with feminine energy. So with this beautiful, warm, soft energy connected to your heart. And yes, I do lots of body work, and I teach a lot around that, because to be in a relationship, you have to be really connected to your body and to your feelings, your emotions, and know as well how to move them through your body, so they don't stay stuck, and you can be, with an open heart.
This work is so intensely personal, which kind of feeds into my second question that I ask everybody. Would you prefer to work more one-on-one with people, or would you rather reach a wider audience and help more people?
So right now I work one-on-one essentially, but I would like to maybe evolve and do some group coaching, because like women's circles, because the energy that is present in a group or in a circle is so powerful that, it's kind of collective healing energy that is moved in those kind of circles. And I see it in my yoga classes, for example. There is a beautiful group energy in a yoga class, and it's, really extremely powerful. So bringing that into the relationship coaching is something I really have in mind. And it's definitely something I want to explore in the future.
I think that would be insanely powerful. And I would agree. We're both members of the Advance. It's a networking group. And I do feel a lot of that kind of group energy in the Advance. Just everybody is so supportive and everybody wants to see everyone else succeed. Do you have like a path forward? Do you see a way that you are going to facilitate these big groups?
So I don't have a clear idea yet, but yeah, I suppose, it will be kind of an extension of what I do one-on-one. So maybe at the beginning, I will start with small groups, and there will still be some one-on-one included at the same time. I really believe in going slow and really listening to what I feel in the moment. So there is still this very personalized touch, but at the same time, it's a group experience, which is so powerful.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you implement this and looking forward to seeing the feedback from all of the participants.
Yes, yeah, no, I really have the feeling it can evolve in something beautiful, powerful.
Absolutely. I just, like I said, I think this is just such a neglected part of your life. It seems like it's the last thing that you get to think about in the day when it should be something that you get to think about all of the time and you get to value all of the time.
Yes, and really, it started. Everything started with me at the beginning. Because I was myself having some relationship issues in my 30s. And it's how I really started to explore the relationship side, because I needed it at that time in my life. Everything started with my own personal needs. So then it evolved, and my own personal growth kind of nourished my professional path. So everything is intertwined in the end, and I think women, we have this inner knowing that having a fulfilling life is essential, and it helps us evolve differently in our businesses as well. Because yes, if we're not fulfilled personally, it's very difficult to focus our attention on our business. So it's very important to take a closer look at our personal life and give it the attention it needs.
Absolutely. How about your journey into it? Were you always a spiritual person, or is this something that just arose because of that need, because of what you wanted that you didn't have in your own personal life?
It really evolved along the years, and it's more kind of in my 30s that spirituality came back into my life. I had a kind of Catholic education with my parents, because my mother is a theologian. So I had this Catholic background, I would say, educational background, but there was I had this connection with I would say spirituality, but it was quite far from my life at that moment when I was in my 30s. And in the end, it's my own issues in my relationships which took me back to it, because I started to work with a spiritual teacher around love and a relationship, and really approach relationships through this angle, and really through this connection, soul to soul connection. And since then, I have explored it even and even more. But yes, it has been a coming back for me, and really, this is the relationship which brought me back to spirituality.
Can you tell us a little bit about your happy ending and your successful journey through your own process, if that's not too personal of a question?
No, of course, no. Okay, so my personal ending, yeah. Okay, so it's when you start working at a spiritual level and at a soul level, synchronicities starts to occur in your life, and so when I was in my 30s, I heard about a pilgrimage, which was quite famous in France and in different countries in Europe. And so it's a pilgrimage that crosses different countries in Europe and arrives in Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And so I felt called to do this path without knowing exactly why, but just listening to this inner calling and to this deep desire of my heart and my soul, I decided to do this pilgrim path. And I am knowing at my husband on this pilgrim path. So it was 16 years ago now, a bit more than 16 years. And so we've been together since. And yeah, but it really started with listening to my own soul and to this deep desire that I had to answer this calling. And this is what I teach the women I work with, to really get out of their head, go into their bodies, into their heart, into their soul, so they can really listen to those deep desires, and it's how the magic can happen.
And that is a magical story. If you hadn't listened to your inner voice and if you hadn't been on the path to help yourself, you wouldn't have been in the position to meet your husband. It really is a beautiful story.
Yes. Now it really started there, listening, awakening my soul. Yes, getting out of my head, and because it was kind of crazy to do this pilgrim path. Who does that,
Right.
So if I had listened to all those thoughts, which kind of were stopping me from doing it, because of course, if you look at it rationally, it doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
So it's really about, okay, let's forget it. Just, listening to this deep inner calling within, and just trust. It's trusting the path.
And you did. And I think that really speaks volumes to your work and how effective it is. And it's very different than the other side of the business world where, you're constantly trying to measure your ROI and you're trying to measure and quantify everything. And this isn't really something that you can put a number to.
There is subtle, I would say, and it's really at the same time daily work to, get out of your head and go into your body, into your breath, reopen your heart, to do some emotional healing. It's kind of a daily, work. But then you have some shifts which can at the same time occur like that. It's those tremendous leaps suddenly, this synchronicity which happens kind of magically. You just don't know how to explain it, but of course everything starts with this deep inner daily work that you do.
I'm going to segue into the next question, but I think I'm going to have to modify it for you. So the last question I ask is, what are the benefits to a client when they work with a solopreneur versus when they work with a larger company? But larger companies don't even do work like this?
I don't think so, no, because, yes, of course, what I can offer as a solopreneur is this personal touch and this sacred healing space. Because it's such a personal work, and there is so much trust. When I work with a woman, everything, it's a space where she feels safe, and where there is lots of healing that can happen. And this is how then those subtle shifts happen as well. So of course, it's all about my presence and how I can hold this sacred space for them. So of course, a big company, wouldn't, offer that. So yeah, it's very personalized, high touch
Yes.
work.
I mean, and I guess that
I
is
offer.
the difference, that you are able to really offer this kind of work where a large company can't. it's really that relationship, and it's hard to have a relationship with a large company.
Yes. A bit more complicated. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so let's just talk a little bit more about, let's get back to the people that you do serve and the work that you do and kind of how it, what advice you would give to a solopreneur who kind of fits the profile of your ideal client, someone, who's in that stage of their life where they're successful in their business and they've neglected their personal life a little bit, and now they want to focus back on that. They have the time to focus on that. Yeah, what advice would you give to them? Where should they start on this journey?
Well, they should start to listen to this desire because it's coming from their heart, from their soul. Because in the end, this life is all about love and opening our heart. And sometimes we make lots of excuses because we're afraid to be hurt. Afraid that maybe we're not lovable, afraid that maybe relationships are not meant for us. So we kind of, say, yeah, I've got lots of work. I have to focus on my work, on my business. But in the end, when you start to take a closer look, there is so many fears. So I would say, okay, be honest, that love is something you really would like to explore, and that is really essential for you. And if you need help, don't be afraid of looking for help, because having a fulfilling love life is so beautiful.
It really is. These aren't skills really that we're taught. It's easier to learn business skills, but I guess they'd be described as soft skills, these emotional skills, and how to, feel fulfilled and how to access what's going on inside of you. This really not something that is widely taught.
No. And I have the feeling that now, with all that is happening in the world with the pandemic, suddenly people are starting to realize that, yeah, so maybe it's important to be in touch with my emotions, because yes, in the end, if I don't feel well, nothing else is really important in this world.
Right. This business success, it's one thing, but knowing that personally you've had the best life that you can, you've had the best relationships that you can, and you've offered everybody the best version of yourself that you can, is in the end really what matters.
Yes, and in the end, this need for perfection and trying to be the best person we can, it's kind of putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. So I would say just try to be compassionate and loving for yourself first. Just be in the moment, just giving your presence, just the way it is right now, being connected to your breath. It's the first essential step. Without trying to be the most perfect or the most, evolved version of yourself. You can be just, starting to, okay, let's take off the pressure. Let's, just be in the moment.
Speaking of that, why don't you go ahead and demonstrate a little bit of the breath work that you do in your practice and just kind of show us what it's like to work with you?
Yeah, so we can start with a very soft, deep and long breath. So I would invite you to sit in easy pose, or if you're not familiar with easy pose, just sit on a chair maybe, and just try to relax your body, your shoulders, your back. Start to circle a little your shoulders and try to move a little your body to release some tensions, and start reconnecting with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And now put your 2 hands on your navel point. Close your eyes and start feeling your navel point grow into your hand in the inhale, like you have a small ball of fire within your hands, and feel this ball expand in the inhale. And then slightly contract in the exhale. And keep breathing like that. Inhale deep through the nose. And exhale deep through the nose as well. Start being in touch with your body. Quiet your mind little by little. Be present in the moment with whatever it is. And now put your left hand on your heart. Your right hand is still on your navel point. And feel into your heart. And just start listening to the deep desires of your heart. It's absolutely safe to have the desire to love and be loved. To be cherished. And to receive the love you deserve. Now just do a deep breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back.
That was very lovely. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
How often
Yes,
would you
just
recommend incorporating this into your practice? Okay.
daily, yes, just, being in touch with your heart on a daily basis, being in touch with love, compassion, and just allowing yourself to be in this loving presence and allowing everything that shows up to show up.
That was so wonderful. I'd like to end the episode with just a word of advice from you about how, especially a heart-centered solopreneur, someone who wants to provide this kind of service to someone, what advice would you give to them if they're on the
Be in touch with themselves and how strong spiritual practice, because it's essential to be aligned with our own heart and soul to hold space for someone else, because we have to be able to, yes, offer a sacred healing space to the women we guide on this love path. So everything starts with our own spiritual practice.
That's a perfect way to wrap up this episode. Do you have any events coming up that you would like to mention?
So I often propose some workshop in my Facebook group online, the women who want to know more about my work and and see how it feels to be in my healing sacred space are welcome to join whenever they want.
Wonderful. I will include the link to that in the show notes for anybody who's interested. And where else can people find you if they're interested in finding out more about you or working with you?
Yeah, so of course my website, gabriellethil.com, and on Instagram as well. I am hanging a little on Instagram with my name, Gabrielle Thil. So it's easy to find me there too, and send me a message if you want to connect with me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your beautiful energy and your calm energy. I enjoyed that. It's a great start to my day.
Beautiful. It was lovely to be there with you. Thank you so much for inviting me, and yes, offer me this beautiful space to share a bit more about my work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.